What's up, guys? As most of you will know by now, Frost Giant Studios has been announced. And the first announcement that Frost Giant Studios made is that they're going to be making a new real-time strategy game. And with a lot of the folks that came from either StarCraft 2 or Warcraft 3 production, I'm actually kind of excited for this. It's very funny because as an RTS fan, we have a new announcement. It feels like every 10 years. The last announcement I got excited for was StarCraft 2. And back then I wasn't actually that hyped. I was still busy playing Warcraft 3. I was enjoying that game. I was like, there's no way there's going to be a game that's going to be better than Warcraft 3. And I just imagined me playing Warcraft 3 till it died and then just turning my back on games and never playing anything again. And then StarCraft 2 came out and I saw the videos and I got kind of excited. I played it and I was like, man, this is the best game ever. And I mean, I'm 10 years into that adventure now, and yeah, I still feel like StarCraft is actually the best game ever made, but I'm also kind of excited to see something new produced by a group of people that I know are deeply competent and have worked on something like this before, and they've made a lot of mistakes before already. So this is not going to be a first-time thing. And I know a lot of you might not know about everything. I'll give you a basic rundown. So Frost Giant Studios is basically a company founded by some ex-veterans from Blizzard. We see Tim Morton, who's the CEO, and Tim Campbell, who is the president, worked on Warcraft 3, The Frozen Throne, and Tim Morton, I think he was the game director for StarCraft 2, Legacy of the Void. And I know a bunch of these people, obviously. I'm familiar with Ryan Shutter, Kevin Dong, Tim Morton previously. So I want to talk a bit more about that rather than just that they got, I think it's 4.6 or 4.7 million in funding, companies like Riot Games backing them already and also helping them out, giving advice from some of the senior game developers over there. So that's all pretty exciting, of course, to have some AAA companies backing this project. And basically a lot of the people here are giants in the game development industry as well, and that makes me very happy. But the reason I think why a lot of the people that are familiar with the StarCraft scene and they've been to community summits or they've had talks with the balance team and some of these people is the knowledge that these guys have and how in touch they are with the community and just their sheer competence. I'm not quite sure how else to explain it, but I've met Tim Morton, I want to say two or three times, and the first time was in 2016, where there was a community summit. They invited a lot of the StarCraft 2 community to, I think it's somewhere in California, Irvine maybe, something like that. And we all sit together like the Blizzard campus, and we talk a bit about stuff and what do we think can be done better, what do we think can be done worse. And it always felt like Tim Morton was a bit like a sponge in that way, where he was capable of taking up a lot of the feedback very quickly and really understanding the feedback on a very deep level as well, even though it wasn't necessarily his area of expertise. It felt like he wasn't someone that he liked to talk. Of course, he gave a talk. I think he was good at that. But what really impressed me was the ability that he had listening to people within the community, picking out on good ideas, immediately being able to say, hey, that's a crap idea as well. Or at least I felt like I was on a very similar line on what we thought were good ideas. And in general, I think from Legacy of the Void on, StarCraft 2 has been in the best state that it's ever been. A lot of people, they talk about the early days of Wings of Liberty as well. This was great and this was fantastic. But I think in the past few years, the improvements that have been made to StarCraft 2 have been very tangible. And I've been very happy with them personally. I think just for fun, you should compare a game from Legacy of the Void to a game of Wings of Liberty. And perhaps do it before you go to bed. See what makes you fall asleep faster. Trust me, after the Legacy of the Void game, you'll be wide awake and wanting to watch more. But after the Wings of Liberty, like you probably won't get past the 6-minute mark because there was very little happening. So I feel like these guys, they improved a lot on their process as game developers throughout making StarCraft 2. And I think Tim Morton was a big part of it, or at least to me seemed a very big part of it. And I'm very happy to see him at Frost Giant as the production director and CEO. That gives me a lot of hope that this is going to be a good game. Then as the second guy that I'm I'm extremely familiar with is Kevin Dong. Now, Kevin Dong also goes by the name of Monk, and he is a guy that. Wait, I'm not sure if you guys can see the picture. This might be better. He's a guy that really loves optimizing things. So he was in charge of the co-op design on StarCraft 2. I think he also was actually really good at Hearthstone for a while, or at least at a semi-professional level. I remember meeting him at some events when he used to play Hearthstone. He's a likable guy, so I obviously have a bit of a bias. But I think what he did with co-op, he was the one that would do the design process for all the new commanders. And the knowledge that he had of the subject was absolutely insane. I remember one time I was playing, just for fun, I was playing co-ops with my girlfriend. And I was getting a bit frustrated that I didn't have good build orders for co-op. I obviously want, even when I'm playing co-op, I want to do well. So I messaged him on Discord. I'm like, hey Kev, like how about you give me, like, do you have any build orders for co-op? And he's like, yeah, sure. Like, what commander do you play? And I'm like, I like playing Kerrigan. He's like, I have something. And he just links me his Excel sheet. And he has, for every commander, he has like 7 different optimized builds to get stuff absolutely the fastest for certain waves and for different goals that you want to have. Maybe you want to do the bonus missions and stuff like that. It's like an insane amount of build orders. I was like, why would you do this? Like, yeah, I just really like optimizing stuff and making sure that everything fits right. I remember one of the builds getting like 2 command centers at like 18 and 19 supply in a row. And he also actually, it doesn't say here, but I think one of his informal roles was also to be part of the balance team. And the thing that always struck me was that he was a careful listener. He was also, once again, similar to Tim Morton, he was very good at getting useful information. Because I'm going to be honest, a lot of the balance meeting with pro players, there's a lot of crap. Like, everyone has different opinions on things. And everyone will try to convince you that their opinion is the right one. And not a lot of that is done with proper argumentation. And I feel like once Kevin Dong got involved, or Monk, the one thing that we at least had to do was to streamline the process of feedback. So any type of feedback that we had to give had to be a lot more structured. So instead of saying, hey, I think Zerg late game is overpowered, Infestor Broodlord is too strong, we'd have to give way more tangible examples and replays, personal experience, other players that had similar experiences, and then he'd look at that and then he'd be like, okay, well, I think X and Y, and what do you think about that? Like, the nice thing with him was that the feedback on your points a lot of the time wasn't instant, which may be frustrating to some, but it also meant that he was doing his research if he got some type of feedback. So he wouldn't immediately respond, hey, I think this about that. He'd give his initial thoughts, and then he'd look into whatever you sent, and then he'd be like, okay, I think X, Y, and Z, and why don't you think the same as me? Why is that not possible? And then we'd go over the options, and then eventually you'd come to the conclusion, okay, Protoss players just need to get better, or the other conclusion, perhaps they need a slight buff in the late game, or they need a slight buff here or there, which I always enjoyed this process a lot more than with where some of the previous balance designer, it felt like if you had a good understanding of rhetoric, that might give your race a leg up. So I'm obviously very biased towards him, but I think he's extremely competent at his job. Like I said, he is extremely well educated. I think he studied optimization, operational research. He's a fantastic guy, I think, to have in the workforce. And then we have Ryan Shutter, the main man who created GameHeart. For the people not aware of what GameHeart is, that is the overlay we use to spectate StarCraft 2 right now. So you have the old replay overlay, which you just go back once again 8-9 years back in time, and you're gonna see, hey, it looks like crap basically. And Ryan Shutter is the man that designed GameHeart and made sure that we now have a nice looking overlay, that things are kind of put in a nice way. I think he was the lead, former lead designer. I thought he was the UI designer, honestly, on StarCraft 2, but I guess lead designer. Whenever I spoke with him, I rarely spoke to him. I can't say too much about him, but from what I've heard from other people is that he's also extremely competent at his job. So I feel like they picked some extremely competent people. I don't know much about the others. I don't know Tim Campbell personally. I think Cara LaForge is the mom of Day 9 and Tasteless. Yeah, co-founder of Day 9 TV. So yeah, that probably does make sense. These guys, I don't know them. I'm sorry. We probably have met before, but yeah, I'm just honestly really hyped to have something to look forward to. Now, don't get too excited, as I think this process is going to take a long time. If I know Tim Morton a little bit, I feel like this is not going to be released because it gets pushed out or because shareholders want the game out. He's going to take his sweet little time with this, and the moment he feels it's right and the company feels it's right, they're going to release this. And I'm just really looking forward to it, especially after last week's news where Blizzard basically said they're pulling out of StarCraft 2. It's nice to have something to look forward to as an RTS enthusiast, and it couldn't have been done with better people. I'm just very happy, and I hope you guys are too. And yeah, that's just it. I just want to give a small update on that. I hope that's okay. I hope I made you a little bit wiser. I know I didn't go too in depth about anything. I just was happy and I wanted to share the happiness. Okay, I think I'm allowed to do that. And as always, tomorrow just will be a regular IODIS episode, and today's Beating Grandmaster with Stupid Stuff will be uploaded next week, Wednesday instead. So we'll be skipping this week. I'm sorry for that. If you much more would have wanted that, then that's life. But this made me very happy. So see y'all next time. Bye bye.